Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Cassandra Joyce Minnick pled guilty to murder Wednesday morning. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison by 8th Judicial District Judge Eddie Northcutt. Minnick was charged with the murder of her husband with a rifle in February of this year. At the time of her arrest, Minnick, age 30, called the sheriff's department in the early morning hours, stating that she had found her husband shot in their residence after she heard a gunshot. Deputies arrived on scene, and Sergeant Richard Greer took charge of the scene. Greer, in hearing Minnick's stories, found objections to the story as Minnick varied the story continually. Greer contacted investigator Charles Humphreys, who found discrepancies in her story as well. He called Chief Investigator Corley Weatherford and Texas Ranger John Vance. Following investigation at the scene, she was arrested and charged with murder. Her 3 children were placed in protective custody with Child Protective Services at that time. Silver Springs police were called to an address on Spence Street where Randall Roberts told them that Melanie Dawn Skeen, age 38, had, quote, hit him in the head with a hammer, unquote, according to the report. The responding officer was told that the incident had caused pain and saw a visible injury. The injury, a red knot forming on the left side of Reynolds' face. This caused the officer to believe the incident warranted the arrest of Skeen for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon family member. She's in Hopkins County Jail, held on a $25,000 bond. When Hopkins County Sheriff's deputies located Robbie Lynn Simpkins, age 60, of Greenville, he was wanted on 3 outstanding warrants. He was residing at the Royal Inn in Sulphur Springs. Although not in his room when the deputies arrived, they waited. When he arrived, Simpkins had 1.6 grams of suspected methamphetamine in his possession, as well as being wanted for parole violation by the Austin Parole Board, burglary of a habitation in Franklin County, and possession of a dangerous drug in Hunt County. He's in Hopkins County Jail, held on the 3 warrants, and charged with possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, less than 1 gram but more than 4 grams. Superintendent Michael Lamb said a request under Section 312.005 of the Texas State Code, or Texas Tax Code, before the Sulphur Springs School Board could open the way for a solar energy farm to be built in the area. He noted that the tax code provision would lower the amount of taxes paid by Salome Limited for the appraised value of the land, but would limit losses to the district over a 10-year period. The board approved a resolution designating a certain area as a reinvestment zone in connection with the economic development agreement under the code. And they set in motion an application and agreement with Salome. In other action, during Monday's board meeting, they appointed James Litzler to serve on the Hopkins County Appraisal District Board of Directors for a term beginning January 1st of 2019 and ending December 31st of 2020. The district received an unmodified opinion in the district's annual financial and compliance report audit for the fiscal year ending in this past August. The opinion is the best that's given, and the district has received it. In conversation with Lamb, he told KSST News that the campus moves made for this school year are showing good results in their first semester. He noted that there's much less difficulty than expected with the change. That change included taking students that were attending the Early Childhood Learning Center and moving them to what was then known as the Douglas campus. Students in 5th grade at Douglas were moved to the Sulphur Springs Elementary School, and the Early Childhood Learning Center building became Barbara Bush Primary School. Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Wildcats basketball team went toe-to-toe with the number 1 ranked team in Class 6A, Denton Guyer, on their home court Tuesday night, losing 77-60. For the Wildcats, Adrian Day Hall scored 22 points and Keyston Willis had 20. Jeremiah Rowland, Cameron Kahn, and Xavier Cork all had 6 points. The Wildcats are now 10-5 for the season. And I asked Wildcats coach Clark Cipolletta how the top team in Class 6A was Tuesday night.
They're really good, and we knew that going in. They had some just really talented players, and what makes it harder is that they made shots. They shot 50% from the three-point line. So when the team's that talented and they shoot it that well, they're going to be hard to beat. But I was super proud of our guys. We battled toe-to-toe with them. They scored on us. We'd come back, score on them. We didn't back down at all. I know the score ended up being 17, but late in the third quarter, we cut it within 4. Had some big runs. Unfortunately, had too many turnovers. That's what really hurt us last night, just turnovers at inopportune times where they got some breakaways and just some easy scoring opportunities. And you can't give the number 1 team in the state easy scoring opportunities. But I was really proud of our guys. We stayed in it. We battled all the way through, and we didn't give up. So definitely a great learning experience. We got a lot better playing that game, and that's what the preseason's about. So.
2 things I noticed that you kind of back up what you say about being competitive. Only down by 4 at the end of the first quarter. I think it was 20-16, and then actually outscore them in the third quarter to get back within 11.
Yes, and it goes back to just that they fought. Our team showed a lot of grit, of just continuing to stick together, and they had some big names. And I told them before the game, guess what? We have big names too, and we have kids that can play. And I'd take you guys over those guys any day, and still to this day would. And just they battled and just made it the best game we could.
Now, it doesn't get too much easier with Jesuit of Dallas ranked in the top 10. And they took their first loss last night. They got beaten overtime by Timberview, so they'll be in a bad mood.
Yes, get them while they're down, I guess. But they're really good, really well coached. Coach Hill's dad coached for the Spurs for many years, so just a coaching legacy for that family, and he does a great job with them. And they have some very talented guys. They have a big kid inside who's been offered by like everybody. Might be the best low post we'll see all year, maybe the best in the state. And they got guards, a kid who signed with Oral Roberts, a little point guard who can really play, can really fill it up, and other shooters to go along with them. So they're a tough matchup for anybody. I feel like we have the size advantage. I think we can hurt them on the glass and hopefully take advantage of some of those mismatches and make it a game.
The only thing with playing a tough schedule, sometimes a team kind of begins to feel like losers or something, where they're taking a lot of losses. How's the team morale?
With this team, I know we're a confident group, and they've been through the weather of having me for many years. And when they were freshmen and sophomores, they probably couldn't handle 2 or 3 losses in a row. They would start losing some confidence. But I think they understand truly what the meaning behind a tough schedule, and understanding that we're just focused on ourselves. So we're just trying to get better. And if we play hard like last night and get better, then that's what it's about, and that's going to prepare us for the real deal. So and we're not worried about wins and losses. We're just worried about trying to play our best game. And the wins and the losses will take care of itself. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to win our last game of the year. So just keep doing that and just keep pushing. And then that goes back to practice and just trying to be better each day. So that's where we're at right now.
The Wildcats do travel to Jesuit of Dallas, ranked number 6 in Class 6A, for a game Friday at 6 p.m. The Lady Cats basketball team struggled in the first half against Ida Bell, Oklahoma, Tuesday evening at home, but then a press led to a big second half and a 49-37 win. Sadavia Porter led the Lady Cats with 27 points, 19 of them in the second half. Autumn Tanton had 10 points. Danielle Godbolt had 8 points. Kate Womack 2 points, and Aaliyah Abram and Nyla Lindley 1 point each. The Lady Cats are now 11-3 for the season. After the game, I talked with Lady Cats basketball coach Brittany Tisdale.
It was a really good second half. Yeah, our first half we started really rough. They were giving us a lot of pressure and coming up, they were fouling a lot, but and we just struggled with it. Even wide open layups we were struggling to make. We were 26% going into the half from twos, and so we went in. I let them know that at halftime, and we came out in the second half, and we ended up getting it to 50%. So we doubled it in the second half. which I'm happy with since we started at such a low percentage. But yeah, we were just struggling to make easy stuff in the first half, and then second half we came out in that press, and I think it woke mine up a little bit, and helped them, and it got their confidence up. They started getting steals, getting layups, and putting them in, and so after that they were okay with going and scoring and running an offense. At first we couldn't even get an offense going in the first half, and second half they were more confident, and so when we did have to set up an offense, we were a lot more successful.
And Sadavia ended up with 27 points, had 19 in the last 2 quarters, so it was her kind of game there in the second half.
Yes, she loved it when she wanted to go in our press. So she wanted to get in it. She was happy when I put them in it. She liked it, and I actually called a play to her in the first half, and she was like, I can't make nothing. And I said, I know you can't make a layup, so maybe you can make an outside shot, so let's try that out. And but second half, when she came out and we were in that press and she was making stuff and getting more steals, she was more inclined to take some shots and run an offense. But yeah, in the first half, she didn't want to do nothing.
Yeah, it was pretty tough, but that press really turned the game around. It really did.
Yeah, and we've been working on it last few practices. I've been wanting to put one in, and so we were going into these tournaments, and we knew we'd see some teams that we could try it out against. So we went ahead and put that in, and we've done that, the last few, and we're able to try it out in a couple games in the tournament, and then tonight we decided to go ahead and go in it, and it was very successful. So
Princeton coming in now. Do you know much about them?
They're a good team. They're playing good people. They're very disciplined. They'll be very different from Idabel. It will be a different game. So we'll have to adjust and change up some things. But they are a very good team. And so it will be a good game for us. It will be a good challenge for us for that one. So.
All right. It's always good to kind of play less than your best and come out with a win somehow, some way.
Yeah, exactly. A win's a win. That's what I've always been told. So just take them how you can get them.
And these fans will go home remembering the third and fourth quarter, and so they'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the ones they need to remember. That's the ones the girls are hoping their parents remember.
The Lady Cats will be hosting Princeton in Wildcats Gym Friday at 6:15. The Saltillo Lions and Lady Lions faced Bland on Tuesday. The Lions lost, but the Lady Cats won. Bland topped the Lions 52-35, and Bland outscored the Lions in every quarter. For the Lions, Chris Bokhorst had a team-high 15 points. Ben Moore scored 9 points. Matthew Gurley added 8 points. Eddie Oleo had 3 points. The Lions were a solid 11 of 15 from the foul line. The Lions' season record is now 9-6. Saltillo coach Bill Giles said that the Saltillo Lady Lions did a good job defensively in their 37-22 win over Bland on the road. The Lady Lions led 13-5 after 1 quarter and 27-13 at the half. In a defensive-minded third quarter, the Lady Lions outscored Bland 5-2 to take a 32-15 lead after 3 quarters. Bland outscored the Lady Lions 7-5 in the fourth quarter, but the Lady Lions still got the 15-point win. For the Lady Lions, Anna Reeder scored 12 points. Jocelyn Ochoa had 8 points. Chandler Bain and Maddie Smith had 5 points each. Lorena Castro scored 3 points. Paisley Kastner and Christina Wade had 2 points apiece. The Lady Lions improved their season record to 10-8. The Lions and Lady Lions play next on homecoming against North Hopkins on Friday. The Lady Lions will be playing at 6 p.m. and the Lions at 7:30.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.